Okay, so today I'm going to show you guys a little bit about knife skills. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I do have my cutting board. It's a little hard to see. And I have two bowls, okay? So the first thing you want to do, if you notice, my cutting board is sliding everywhere. So for number 3 on your demo, what you're going to do is you're going to wet a paper towel or a kitchen towel. So I just wetted a paper towel. I'm going to kind of pull it apart so it's flat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it on top of my counter and I'm going to put my cutting board on top of it. And then you notice, look, it doesn't really slide anywhere. Okay? So that will help it secure it in place. The purpose of the two bowls that I have here, one is for scraps and one is actually for you to put your cuts in. So depending on what you're cutting in your kitchen, like specifically an onion, you might have to put some of the skin of the onion in this bowl to throw away and then your actual cuts in this bowl. So that's the purpose of the two bowls. Okay, so you should be standing square to your cutting board. You shouldn't be like sitting while you're cutting. You should be standing and very square to your cutting board. So that's exactly how I'm standing right now. I am going to use a chef's knife. So I'm going to scoot this back. I'm going to use a chef's knife, okay? I'm going to be cutting some little baby carrots. So the grip that I always use that I'm most comfortable with is I actually put all four of my fingers under the handle and I rest my thumb on the bolster. So that's my grip. So all 4 fingers are essentially gripping the handle and my thumb just rests against the bolster. So there are other grips that you can use when you hold a knife, obviously, and we've talked about those. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do so. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a solid grip on your knife. For this hand, I'm not going to want to chop like this because I'm going to chop my fingers off. So our supporting hand should be something called the bear claw, and we've talked about that. So the bear claw is 1, going to protect your fingers, and 2, it's going to give you a good grip on whatever you're cutting. Also, I can rest the blade against my knuckle and kind of use it as a guide. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut in one fluid motion. And you're going to want to cut away from you. So I'm not going to cut towards me like this, I'm cutting away from me. Okay? So this is a carrot. So here's some of my cuts. Obviously, if you want to not cut it like that, you can do like long ways. Rondelle cuts are round. So I'm trying to look through the questions right now. You guys should be able to know what a rondelle cut is. It's round. Having good, accurate knife cuts is really good for cost control. It's also really good for appearance of any sort of dish. When you're dicing, obviously it's a little hard to dice a carrot because it is already like kind of round for us, but if you're dicing, let's say like a chicken breast or a block of cheese, that's going to actually look like a cube. Okay? When we're doing knife skills, we want to make sure that we're always using a sharp knife. We never want to use a dull knife because a sharp knife is going to help us glide through our food. So I'm just going to bear claw down in my food to kind of grip it down, but also I'm going to protect my fingers and use my knuckle as a guide. So 2 other knives that we can use to mince, dice, and chop. So we've used our chef's knife. Another knife that we can use that I actually have in my kitchen is our Santoku knife. And we can also use our utility knife, but I think this is my utility knife. My utility knife, a little bit smaller than a chef's knife. Okay? Now, if you accidentally cut yourself in the middle of cutting, what you should do is you're going to want to wash your hands, put a Band-Aid on, and then you're going to want to put a latex glove on. If you got any blood on your cutting board or in your food, obviously you're going to have to throw away the food and wash off the cutting board or switch the cutting boards out. So again, the purpose of the 2 bowls is for a cut and 4 scraps. Making sure that you have a solid grip. When you're holding the knife, your supporting hand should be in the bear claw, gripping down at your food and using it as a guide. You want to save your fingers. Okay, I hope that helps. You can do this with any sort of food. I just did carrots today. One reminder is that whenever you're cutting something that's round, like a tomato or like a something that's around, an apple, you always want to make a flat surface with your food. Making a flat surface is going to have more control over what you're cutting, but also have your cuts be pretty. So, okay, that's all you need to know really for tomorrow's lab. I'm going to kind of go into more detail of what's expected of you, but just know that we secure our cutting board with a wet paper towel or a wet kitchen towel. Know that you have to have a good grip. If you don't feel comfortable tomorrow using a chef's knife, you're more than welcome to use a smaller knife. Okay, thank you.